It is 7:04, December 26th, the day after Christmas. Anyways, I'm out here again, and I kind of just wanted to yap first about like the things that are on my mind before I try and like make a point. And I think that like I sound like a teenager. I think that when I just keep talking, eventually I get to like this realization or like some kind of point. And that's kind of how it is when I journal too. Like you journal and you're just like writing about how you feel and stuff. And like how your struggles and how life is going. And eventually it's like your mind, eventually you just come to this point that you would have never come to if you were just like, if you didn't let your thoughts out. You come to this point and you realize like what you have to do. I don't know, it's so eye-opening. Which is why I think this is so good for me, because usually I write down everything, but being able to speak it out loud, it's kind of like I'm journaling, but instead of writing down stuff, I'm just recording, which I feel like helps a lot with my articulation and bringing my thoughts into speech and be able to like communicate my thoughts to other people. And I do think I'm getting better at, I do think this has helped me get better at talking to other people. We are crossing the street. Okay, another thing I was thinking about was how, like, with YouTube, people want, like, including me, want, like, the perfect video, and, like, I don't know, I've never really wanted to be an influencer or anything, so I didn't really start doing this out of wanting to be an influencer, but it's like you do see people who are making like a ton of money from this, and like when you start this, you're like, I wonder if that could be me, which is why I decided not to title my videos, like before any of this, I decided not to like title my videos with any kind of point I'm trying to make, or because I learned some copywriting, I didn't want to title my videos with something that would hook people in, because I wanted to just see no results and keep going anyways. And I feel like the point of that is consistency over perfection. Like, rather than, because perfectionism and people kind of romanticize, like, oh yeah, I like to be perfect and I want everything to be perfect, and people think that this is a good thing, but it's really, when you're really trying to get out there and do things that you're scared of, it's honestly like kind of the worst mindset to have, because all you're thinking about is like, oh, I need to say the perfect thing, I need to be perfect, it needs to be like everything has to be perfect before it can be like submitted to the world. But for you to even learn anything, you have to just not even aim for being perfect and kind of just get out there every day until you get better. And perfection, like, I don't know, I've experienced wanting to be perfect all the time with like grades and stuff, and it's like you kind of end up, there'll be like an assignment that's like 5% of your grade, and if it's not perfect you don't want to submit it, but then it goes in as missing, and then it's like, oh, my grade just dropped now because now I have a 0 for that. It's kind of like stuff like that, like just submit it anyways, even if it's not perfect, even if you might get an 80 instead of an 100, so that you can move on to the next thing and you can keep getting better. Like, instead of trying to be perfect, I think I should just learn to, instead of being perfect, I should just like keep going at it, because that's the only way to actually get better. Because the more times you do it, the more you realize that you suck at it, and the more you find the things that you need to change, and the more you can change these things, and the better you will get. But if you just do it once and get it perfect, then you're not learning anything. So really, failure leads to success, and you won't meet anyone who's very successful, has any success at all, who hasn't failed. I kind of don't have anything in my mind anymore. But I think that's kind of the beauty of this, is it's kind of like a meditation practice. Like, once you get everything out, then your mind is clear. Because oftentimes during the day, I'll just be thinking about the same thing, like over and over and over and over. It'll be the same topic, and I'll like repeat like the same words in my head, but like the same idea in my head, but over and over again, and just kind of in, I guess, like if you go on a paraphraser and you put in one idea and you just paraphrase it, that's kind of what's going on in I'm trying to put on my glove. Yeah, but that's what goes on in my mind all the time if I don't like journal. But sometimes it's kind of tiring to get out the notebook and the pencil and like lock my door and then just like write for an hour straight to get all that out. So I feel like in a way this is better, because I can walk and talk, like do two things simultaneously. It's so pretty right now, and see the pretty view. I was reading about, okay, so I got these gloves for Christmas, but I also got this book that I've been wanting. It's called The Boron Letters by Gary Halbert or something like that. Gary something. And the first page, he was talking about how, okay, so basically the book is letters. He was in prison. Okay, I got this book called The Boron Letters, and it's basically this book where this dude, he's in prison and he's a copywriter, and he's writing to his son to tell him to teach him the lessons of his life. Like every day in prison, he just writes his son a letter to teach him lessons, and he was going to use these letters as like notes to make like a book. But instead of doing that, they just published it like really raw and authentically and like straight to the point. They published it like that, and I got that book. And the first letter to his son talks about how he's saying that he walks around this hill every day. He started walking around this hill every day in the morning around, like, there's a hill in the prison, and the first time he could barely walk around it, and how now he's like running around it for 4 miles, and that you should get this road work, he calls it. You should get this road work in as soon as you get up and in the morning, which kind of motivated me to come out here again. And he was saying, just like eat a piece of fruit, brush your teeth, and then just get out there and start walking for half an hour, and then for half an hour you go back. So I've been out here since 6:50-ish. I don't know if I'm gonna go an hour, because like right now I could, but during school it's kind of inconvenient for my schedule. So I don't know if I'll do that, but I definitely want to like keep coming out here, even if it's just for like 5 minutes. Consistency over perfection, I think, is my lesson for today. Just be consistent and not thinking about being perfect. Like, I think getting rid of the idea of like, oh, I know this is like really a stretch because I have no views, no likes, nothing, but getting over the idea of thinking that this is going to be like a career, and instead of like, oh, I need this to be a career for me, and I want money and all of this, and seeing like no views and then being disappointed and quitting, just looking at all the little things that doing this helps me with, rather than this like huge possibility that like I would have to work a lot more for. Focusing on like how this helps me talk to people in real life and articulate my thoughts and clear my head and not have, I think I have seasonal depression, and not feeling bad because I didn't go outside today, and instead I get exercise in, I have more confidence. I feel like I'm doing something with my life. I think that's the best part. Just feeling kind of filled with purpose. Once you're filled with purpose, everything kind of falls into place. So I saw this like video on Pinterest, and it was, I don't know what his name is, but he was saying like, write all the things that you want in your life and pick the one thing that would change your life the most, and then like write down like 10 steps on how to get there, and then just like go every day and complete, so that you can complete each of the steps and get to what you actually want. And I think that like picking the right thing, the thing that you know is going to change your life the most, is so important, because forever I would do this, and I was like, I wanted to do something different, but I would always focus on like losing weight and losing fat and just like diet and exercise. And I would always do that and then just like fall off again, because it's hard to find purpose in that when I'm like already kind of content with the way I am. So once I shifted my focus to the right thing, focusing on articulating my thoughts, caring less about what people think, and just actually bettering myself instead of doing the things I already know how to do, then like the diet and the exercise started to fall into place. Like right now I'm walking. I guess the point of that is focus on the thing you know is going to change your life the most, even though it's probably going to scare you the most, and everything else will fall into place. Just focus on that. Be consistent. Don't think about being perfect. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching this. I feel like if you're watching this, you're probably just stumbled upon this. But if you're watching the whole thing, maybe it's because I've gotten somewhere in the future. Anyways, I'll leave you with the sunset. Goodbye.